Honey, can you shoot? Are we all excited? No. Say it out loud if you are. Are you excited? Good. Class ਦੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂਆਤ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ? ਦੋਨੇ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ, ਚਿਹਰਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਮੁਸਕਾਨ, smiles on your face, fold the hands. We say it out loud. We say, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਅੱਜ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਬੇਟੀ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ? ਕਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਲਾਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ? ਠੀਕ ਹੈ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਪਾਠ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ। ਕਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਘਰੇ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਦੇ ਕਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ? ਗੁੱਡ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਹੋਰ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਰਨਾ? How many actually promised that you actually going to do it? Good. Every day practice करेगा भी, ठीक है? You may not understand, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਸਮਝ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋਗੇ, when you grow older, and when one day you get to my age, you're sitting down, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਮਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸੋਚੋਗੇ ਨਾ, one day you will think about it, and then you will know how powerful that part is. ਕਿੰਨੀ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹੋ, ਪਰ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਹਾਲੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਫਿਰ ਹਾਲੇ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋਗੇ, ਫਿਰ ਕਦੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸੋਚੋਗੇ, ਫਿਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ most beautiful thing, ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ। ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਕਰਕੇ We're going to talk about some questions. ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਹੱਥ ਧੋਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੱਥ ਧੋਣੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਚ ਆਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ Why do you think we wash our hands before we come into the Darbar Sahib? How many of you actually wash your hands? And how many of you know why do we do it? You see this? Good. Take your germs off. What else? Listen. Basic stuff of it. There's nothing religious about it, but there is still something that Guruji tells us all the time, honey. Honey? You see this one? ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਸ, ਸਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੌਨਫੀਡੈਂਸ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬੋਲ ਸਕੇ। ਇੰਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਹਰ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇ ਸਕਦਾ। ਦਿਸ ਇਜ਼ ਦ ਵੇ ਵੀ ਨੀਡ ਟੂ ਥਿੰਕ। ਹਾਂਜੀ Guru Ji said, "Is dehi ko paao. Take care of this body. Keep it healthy." And how do you keep it healthy? You don't want to get germs. You don't want to get sick. And we want to keep the Guru Darbar very clean because everybody else is going to sit around here. So we don't want to make it dirty. It's that simple. It's that basic. It doesn't mean they become pure or something like this one here. We're being told, but this is a common sense approach. Now, the other question that was asked was, why do we cover our hair? Why do we cover our hair? How many actually know that? Well, let's tackle that question first. First of all, why do we take our shoes off before we come to the bottom? You don't want to get the rug dirty. What if there was only tiles? As you carpet nahi karni karni. Je the carpet on pinda de vich the carpet nahi pai. India de vich the carpet nahi pai. Utte mitti hundi hai, farsh bhi nahi lagi hundi. ਆਪਾਂ ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਹੈ, ਸਿੱਖ ਨੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਹੈ। ਫਿਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਦੇ हैं? Well, let's tackle that question. And Christians don't do that. Why don't the Christians do that? There is a reason. Bible ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਹੀਂ। Bible is not their guru. It is a holy book. And that's why when you go to hotels, motels, they always got one in the night table. Do you find Guru Granth Sahib Ji like that? Yes or no? No. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is always in the Gurdwara and is fully decorated because this is our living Guru. Bible है तुसी होटल जाओगे हर एक टेबल ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬੱਸਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਕਾਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਰੱਖੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਸਰੂਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਾ ਲੈ ਜਾਂਦੇ। This is a guru. And our guru talks to us. It's like a living being. ਜਾਗਤ ਜੋਗ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਮੋ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। That's why we give the royal treatment. ਇੱਕ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੌੜ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ? ਕਾਹਤੋਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ? Somebody asked me the question, I gave the answer. Let's see if he or she remembers. Do you know what a jar is? किन्हों को पता भी jar की है? Yeah, सेवाज खड़े में it goes like this. What is that for? For safety? Why? किस चीज की सेफ्टी है? Respect. How do we show respect by doing that? That's a good guess. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਦਰ ਮਾਣ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੈ? Why do we do that? Satkar is karke. What used to happen? How many actually seen one of those old movies where the king is sitting there? Indian TV. How many actually watch the Punjabi channel? How many actually watch those religious Hindu movies? And they always got something like, they got these kings and whatnot here. They got people standing behind them and then they're just going on top. And then they got the big fan going around. Big fan. You know what used to happen in the olden days when it used to be hot? And the king will be sitting on his throne. And he wanted to be comforted. So people will bring in huge fans and they'll be waving those fans. And then when they were doing for the rest of the people sitting in at the bottom, and he says, well, I'm just getting the same treatment just like everybody else. ਜਦੋਂ ਪੁਰਾਣਿਆਂ ਵੇਲਿਆਂ ਚ ਰਾਜੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੱਖੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਬਾਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਸੀ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਖਾਸ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਟ੍ਰੀਟਮੈਂਟ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਪੱਖੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਰੱਸਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਖੱਲੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਖੜੇ ਕਰ ਦੇਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਕਰਨਾ and that became associated because he needed to stand out from everybody else. And he was always somebody who was royal. And our Guru is the King of Kings. Remember, you always say, Singh is King. Say it. Singh is King. And he's our King. So he's the King of Kings. ਅਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਇੱਕ ਰਾਜਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਤਾਂ ਰਾਜਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਰਾਜਾ So that is the royal treatment. We treat him like any royalty is. This dunya da badshah. So we give him that royal treatment, and that's the reason why we do the job. And there was a practical reason in India. You had mosquitoes and flies, you kept them off. But most importantly, it is that royal treatment. We're going to continue like this one here. Taking our shoes off. You know what happened in Christianity? When they go to the church, they don't take their shoes off. Because the Bible is not their living guru. It is a holy book. So what happens when they actually go to the church? They don't have to show that much respect. They're there because somebody's going to stand up and give a lecture, and that's it. Church de vich kise padri ne khade ho ke jo kehna keh dena. But we don't come here for that. Even the person that's standing here cannot talk about anything else other than the Guru Granth Sahib. But Gurdwara de vich jehdi ਰਹਿਤ ਮਰਿਆਦਾ ਉਹ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੋਂ ਸਿਵਾਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ And it's a tradition in Islam, in Muslims. You know what? What do they do with their dead bodies in Islam? Do they burn them? What do they do? They bury them. Islam de vich jehdi hai murde dafnaye jande ne. You know what happens? When they walk by and they're closer to the people that are buried, they actually take their shoes off. ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਦੀ ਲੰਘਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਜੋੜੇ ਲਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ. This was a sign of respect. And they also cover their hair as a sign of respect. I remember when I was growing up, there was a teacher of mine, and he used to do a lot of katha in a gurdwara. And if I was riding my bike along with my friends, and if we saw him, it didn't matter if we saw him 1 kilometer away, everybody got off the bikes. You did not ride your bikes. You rolled them, you walked. And when he came by, you did your fateh, and he will give you a hug. And then you still kept on walking away, and you looked back as long as you could see, just simply out of respect. You never got on your bikes. It is a way of showing respect. Plus, when we go to wearing shoes, we are going to the bathrooms, we're going to different places, they tend to get dirty, and when you walk into the darbar, you don't want to bring all the dirt off. So you don't want to make it dirty. Same way in the olden days, and still it's a practice in other religions, that when people come in the company of the holy and respected, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਭਗਤ ਪੁਰਸ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਕੇਸ ਢਕੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ. And Guruji kept all those good traditions. And there's one more important one. Now why do we cover it here? The most important one. Let me ask you a question. When I come to the Gurdwara, do I have to look for a mall? Yes or no? Why is that? Give me an answer. ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ 'ਚ ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਣਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਰੁਮਾਲ ਲੱਭਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ? ਹਾਂਜੀ. Because I'm wearing my dastar. And why am I wearing my dastar? ਹਾਂਜੀ. Because I'm a Sikh. How do you know that? Well, I'm wearing a dastar because I'm a Sikh. I'm a Sikh because I'm wearing the star. Well, the Muslims wear the star too. Shias wear the star. Taliban in Afghanistan, they wear the star too. So how do you know that I don't need a mom? Because that is the part of a code of conduct. Guruji said, when you are going to keep those long hair, you're not going to cut, you need to take care of them. And the star is one of those ones where we keep them covered at all times. Now let's look at it. Who are the people that are actually looking for a mom? Why is that? Why do they need a mom? Because you don't have the star. And you don't wear the star. Why? Because you cut your hair. So every time we come to the Gurudwara, we're constantly reminded that you're missing something that's important for a Sikh. And you're missing the case. You're missing one of those very important natural keys. It's given to you by God. And you're missing that. Some of you already have the rumal on, some of you got patkas on. You already cover your hair. It's only the ones that cut their hair. When they come to the Gurdwara, they're constantly being reminded that you should not cut your hair. That is the critical point behind it. Also, we come in, we show respect to our Guruji. It's like saying, I do come here, yes, thank you for reminding me, I was missing something, and then we stand up in the ardas and we say, Sikhan, Sikhidan, Kesdan, I beg for a gift from you, give me the case. Before we enter the Gurdwara, we're reminded, and when we stand in the Gurdwara in ardas, we ask for something as a gift. And what do we do at the end of the day? If we still haven't, what would happen if you go to your friend, you're being very nice to them, and you say, well, I need a present, and he's willing to give you one, and you go there every day. You say, didn't I give you one? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਤੋਹਫਾ ਮੰਗਣ ਗਏ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੰਗਣ ਗਏ, every day you ask for one. And then you turn around, but you don't accept it. And next day you go and ask for another one. He's willing to give you one, but you don't accept it. How do you think your friend is going to feel? Your friend is going to feel bad. How do you think Guruji feels? Don't you think he will feel a little bit sad if he was sitting right in front of us and talking to us and saying, you come here every day. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਆਉਣੇ ਆ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਹਰ ਵਾਰੀ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੇਸ ਤੱਕਣੇ ਸੀ, ਕੇਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਰੁਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਪਈ, ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਕੇਸ ਮੰਗੇ, मैं दे भी जाना फिर तुसी नहीं रखते। What do you think? Is Guruji going to feel very happy? Yes or no? These are the constant reminders in a Sikh's life, every day, in and out, in and out. Remember, a Sikh does everything what Guruji tells you. And we try to follow every day what he says. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਹੈ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਾਉਂਦੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਮਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਮਾਂ ਵੀ ਕੱਢਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਣਗੌਲਿਆ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਰਮਾਂ 'ਚ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਣਾ ਹੀ ਕਰਨਾ then we don't think about it. And this is where the concept of pain and pleasure comes in. So khanda ਜਿਹੜਾ concept ਨਾ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣਨੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਛੱਡ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਨਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਦੁੱਖ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ but that's a different story. We'll talk about that in afterwards. Now I talked about here last time the person that asked me the question here about cutting the nails. You were missing, right? Last class, did you all understand why we cut our nails, not our hair? What if your friends ask you that question? I need this. Front part of the nails it's dead. And does Guruji keep you to keep things that are dead? Would you walk around dead ants in your pants? Well, that's right. Ants in your pants. Do you like carrying dead things in your pockets? When you comb your hair, do you like to take those ones and put in your pocket? No. We throw them away. Same thing. All the hair that are broken off, they're dead. And Guruji said, get rid of them. That's why we comb them twice a day. So how many of you actually can explain to your friends, we're going to have on Wednesday, we're going to have those Christian students coming in, and they are the ones that ask these questions on a regular basis. They're born and raised and educated as Christians. They're from a Catholic school. How many of you actually think can go and talk to them and explain to them, because this is the first question they ask when I tell them to cover their hair. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉਹ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟ ਆਉਣੇ ਨੇ ਪਰਸੋਂ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਚੀਅਨ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰੁਮਾਲ ਬੰਨ੍ਹਣ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਉਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜੋ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਵਾਬ ਦੇਣ ਜੋਗੇ ਨੇ who is willing to volunteer because I will give you a chance to go and explain to them because I'll feel more proud. Okay. ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੱਥ ਖੜੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੈ Wednesday you'll be here in the class because the rest of the class will be going directly into the classrooms. And I want you to answer their questions and explain to them. Are you prepared? Because I want to see how much you learn. And if it comes from you guys, it'll be impressive. If ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ explain ਕਰੋਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਅਸਰ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਛੋਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਤਾ So how many would you be able to explain who's a Sikh? Let's do a quick review because today we started a little late, so before we start another topic, who's a Sikh? We're going to do a quick review. Ani. Absolutely. Sikh ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੈ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਮਝਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਤੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਢਾਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ Sikh ਹੈ. And who's a Singh? Any? Uchi bolero. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ. Ani, Uchi. That's, you're jumping ahead. We don't memorize, we should understand. Singh is shared. Let's tell them the glory is Singh is a shade. What do you think they're going to feel? He's going to turn around and says, I don't see your tail. What are we going to tell them? Apa Singh ne ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਥੋੜੀ ਪੂਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਸਦੀ ਫਿਰ ਕੀ ਕਹਾਂਗੇ? It's true, Singh means a lion. But a person should be like a lion. Honey. Absolutely. And a person takes an oath. Guru de samne khad ke aur is nu saw chukda panjaab pyare lege khande di ball lege. He becomes Amar Shah. Honey. Honey. That is a question we're going to come to as a separate topic. Okay? But the main is honey. Absolutely. ਸਵਾਲ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਪਣਾ ਕੇ ਜੀਵਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਧਾਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੰਘ ਦੇ ਕੌਰ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ ਹੈ? You didn't go to medical school. You didn't study medicine. Should you call yourself a doctor? You didn't study engineering. You didn't go to university. You didn't get the proper experience and education. Should you call yourself an engineer? Same way, a person who refuses to follow Guru's instructions, refuses to listen, jira Guru di gal mannan to munkar ho janda hai. This has just become a tradition, and this is where the Sikhism has gone wrong, or people that preach Sikhism has gone wrong, because we're given a birthright to write the name Singh and Kaur, because you're constantly, just like covering your ear, you're constantly reminded what you should become. Singh de Kaur ਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਲਾ ਦਈਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਣਨਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਦਰ ਮਾਣ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੇ ਕੌਰ ਹੈ। ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਮੇਵਾਰੀ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਕੁਝ ਬਣੀਏ। We should become like that. Well, what happens is we just put that Singh in Kaur, and then sometimes I run across people. I actually met one of my oldest friends from at least 26 years ago on Facebook, and I couldn't recognize him. Even if he stood in front of me, I would never recognize him. Because when I left India, he was used to wear beautiful dastar. He had beautiful case and dadi. Now he's all totally different, and he dressed up like a Gora, and I couldn't believe it. He sent me his picture. I thought I was the wrong person. So how do you compensate for that? He still calls himself a saint. I think at that stage you should lose the right to call yourself a saint. Because otherwise, what do you think people are going to think about it? There is an identity. If I tell you, here's a person from RCMP, what do you think he's going to be dressed up like that? What do you expect a person, if I tell you there's a person from the RCMP coming by, do you think he's going to be wearing a kurta pajama? Do you think he's going to be wearing a necktie? What do you think he's going to be dressed up like that? Honey? He's going to be in a police uniform with his hat, with his gun, with all the handcuffs hanging on the back, his safety shoes, everything on. See, when we have something associated with identity, you do not want to lose it. You want to keep it like that. And that is the true identity of a Sikh. And that's how they become a Singh. So what's the concept on? Daso, dus kenne ਮੇਰੀ ਕੀਤਾ I need the one in the glasses on the back. I need green shirt. What's your book? Of what? Good. That's the critical part. Singha na vikara na smooth bhaichara, parentjara. That is a Khalsa month. So, we talked about a quick review because I'm preparing you for some of the ones. You should be prepared to answer those questions to those Christian students. So who's a student? Sorry? Say. What's a school? What's your curriculum? What's your classroom? Who's your teacher? Guru comes in. And how do you pay your fees? What's your homework? See, I skipped a chapter, class work. Now we got thrown off. What's your homework? Homework, sorry, put your name. Guruji doesn't ask you to bring an agenda, does he? And your parents don't have to sign it. I need this up. This up. What's your homework? Reading and following. Actually, it's a practice. You go home and you practice what you learn in the Gurdwara. That's exactly what you do. You go home and you practice what you learn in your school. That is why it's called the homework. And what are the 5 things we should give up? Sorry. If you have them, you'll become a? And would you love to be a? Okay. That's all we need to tell them on that day. The rest we can handle. I want to have this one come from you guys because he was quite impressed when you guys actually said it out loud, and they were totally impressed how well educated you guys are. And when they come in and they ask questions, we're going to handpick some of the key students out here. And then I'm going to let them interact with you directly, and they will ask you certain questions, and you should be able to answer them. All right? So we're going to end this class here today. Tomorrow we're going to continue with a different subject. Again, the Gurdwara protocol. And the one that, why we should be dressed up properly in the Gurdwara. And what is that proper dress code? Guru de dwar te auna hai, किस तरीके ना कपड़े पाए होने चाहिए, कितना दे पाने चाहिए ने, ते किहड़े नहीं पाने चाहिए. This is one of the questions that I've been asked constantly. Is it okay to come and wear a little shorts? Should we come in tank tops? Or should we just simply show up in shorts because it's too hot outside? Okay? So those are the questions we're going to tackle tomorrow. Okay? We're going to end the class. At least this session. Just like every other day, we fold our hands, we say it out loud, we say, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. सारे ने बैठे रहना.